Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to be doing some banana oatmeal cookies. This recipe comes from a friend of mine who works at the high school where we live. She does these cookies for her family and friends. She gave us the recipe. We absolutely love it in our household. So now I'm going to make them for you. First, you're going to take up some bananas. I've got 4. The recipe calls for 3 medium-sized bananas. My bananas are not that big, so I'm going to use all 4. And all you're going to do is just mash them up. I may be weird. I peel my bananas from the bottom. So be it. Make sure to take that little nasty thing off if you do. You want to use ripe bananas, but you do not want to use overly ripe bananas. And you don't want to use yellow bananas because yellow bananas are too hard and they don't mash real easily. You're just going to take you a fork. And you're just going to start smashing them up. They ain't got to be perfect. Probably be easier if I used a potato masher. So that's what we're going to do. You can use a fork. Potato masher works too. Just mash them up real good. You don't want real big pieces, but you don't want teeny tiny pieces either. You want to be able to taste the banana. Like that, kind of make a nana mush. And then we are going to add in 3/4 of a cup of butter or sharpening, whichever you prefer to use. As I have said before, I love real butter. So typically when I do my baking, that is what I use. Make sure it is softened a little bit. You don't want it melted. You just want it soft. Just like that. You're going to take you a spoon and just kind of mash it in there. I'm actually going to go ahead, since our potato masher is already dirty, we're just going to mash it right into the bananas, just like this. And as I've said before, if you've got a KitchenAid mixer, feel free to use that. I don't have one, so I pretty much do it by hand. Make sure to get all of the bits out. Just like that. Now we can take our spoon and kind of mix it a little better. Okay, and then we're going to add 1 cup of brown sugar. Okay, just like that. 1 cup of brown sugar going in. And then you want to add 1 egg. And you just mix this together. Alright, this spoon isn't working out the way I wanted it to, so we're going to trade this spoon out for a whisk. But I think a whisk will work better on what we're trying to do. You are going to have chunks. That's from your bananas and your butter. They will flatten out and mix in once you start adding your other ingredients. Alright, once you've got the egg mixed in with your butter and your bananas and your brown sugar, we're going to add the flour. And this recipe calls for 1.5 cups of flour. Like that. And we're going to add some cinnamon. You need 3/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. One, as I make a mess. Sorry about that. 2, and 3. After you add your cinnamon, you are going to add some nutmeg. You need 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Just like that. And you're going to want some baking soda. And we are going to use 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then you're going to use a teaspoon of salt. Just like that. And you're going to take and you're going to mix it all up. And it'll start coming together into almost like a muffin or a cake mix. It's not going to be real wet. It's just going to be kind of thick. You're going to want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You're going to make sure to get all the flour off the side of the bowl and off the bottom of your bowl. And make sure everything is well incorporated. As you can see, I still have chunks of butter in here. That is fine. Don't be concerned about it. If you're using a stand mixer, you probably will not have the chunks of butter. Or a hand mixer. I do have a hand mixer. I may get that out here shortly and just whip it just for a minute or two. Alright guys, I pulled out the hand mixer. Just to try and get some of these lumps out of here. Alright. That's what you want it to look like. As y'all can tell, I don't use a hand mixer very often, so I'm not very handy with it. Alright, once you get all that done and all your ingredients whipped together like that, then you're going to add the last and the most important ingredient in this, which is the oatmeal. You need 1 3/4 cup of oatmeal. You want to add the oatmeal last. So there's 1. And there's 3/4. Now we're just going to mix it in. Not over stirring it. Just combining it in. And you want to use the quick oats for this recipe. Because the last thing you want to do is bite into a cookie and have crunchies from your oatmeal. Alright. That's what your batter should look like once you get it all mixed together. And we are going to put some of this stuff away and then make room for scooping some cookies. My kitchen by no means is large. It is very small. I don't have a lot of room in my kitchen, but I make do with what I have. You'll see, you know, up on top of the freezer, up on top of the pantry, up on top of the fridge. I put stuff where I can see it. That way I know I have it. Now, all we're going to do is get ready to drop some cookies. Alright, if you've got one of these silicone mats, I recommend you use it. If you don't have one, just put them down on a piece of parchment paper. That works too. Now, you're going to take little spoonfuls like that, and you're just going to set them down on your cookie sheet. You don't want big cookies, but you don't want teeny tiny cookies either. You should be able to get 12 onto your cookie sheet if you have a little cookie sheet like I do. If you have a larger one, you might be able to get 16. They don't have to be perfect. They will spread out a little bit. Just like that. And now we're going to put them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. Usually 11 is what works for my oven. But keep an eye on them. They will be a very moist cookie. So don't be surprised if they don't look like they're done. I will show y'all what they look like when we take them out of the oven. But right now we're going to get them popped in and let this first batch bake up. Alright, y'all. It has been 11 minutes. We're fixing to take these out. That is what they look like when they come out. And you want to immediately remove them from the tray. If I can do it without burning the crap out of myself. And put them on a wire rack so that they can cool. Whoop. They are very soft. They are more like a cake-like cookie. But they are so yummy with a glass of milk or a cup of coffee. So if you got some bananas that are going bad on you, try making some of these up. And your house will smell amazing with the cinnamon and the nutmeg. And this recipe will make approximately 36 cookies, depending on the size that you make them. I have a puppy dog behind me because she knows that she's going to get a cookie once they cool. This is what they look like on the inside. Kind of cake-like. Very yummy. Very banana-y. So, if you have any comments, any questions, you want to see another quick, real easy recipes, let me know in the comments below. We'll talk at y'all later. Ta-ta for now.